Hello everyone, my name's FitzWilliam and I'm in the Marketing 443 class. And today I'm going to talk about Cleaner of Your Dreams Super Bowl campaign that Mr. Clean did in the Super Bowl in 2017. First I'm going to talk about the overview of Mr. Clean, the brand itself. Mr. Clean has been made by Procter & Gamble since 1950, and if some of you aren't familiar with Mr. Clean, it is a liquid cleaning solution that was designed to clean hard surfaces, jewelry, and laundry back in the day. It was mainly targeted towards women, as you can see on the ad to the left. Brides that love Mr. Clean. That was a slogan that they had back then, and it shows that this ad was targeted towards women. I really like this little tagline they came up with too. Mr. Clean gets rid of all of dirt and grime and grease in just a minute. Mr. Clean will clean your whole house and everything that's in it. So it shows that Mr. Clean is able to clean anything in your entire house. Also in the market, in 1960, it was one of the first clean supplies that were able to be packaged into a bottle. So they were able to expand real easily into stores and whatnot. It is also known as a premium brand. So that's a little bit of an overview of Mr. Clean itself. They had a couple brand extensions. This is kind of the history of their brand. They started off with the liquid cleaner in 1960. And that you can see at the top left-hand corner. In the top right is the bathroom cleaner that came out in 1992. And then they decided to enter the glass and surface spray cleaner category in 1993. And their biggest hit yet is their Mr. Clean Magic Eraser that came out in 2003 and has been able to become more durable. They have more scrubbing power. They have more scented solutions to that cleaning pad, which has generated a lot of revenue for the brand. And with that, we're going to talk about the campaign itself. So, Mr. Clean, when they wanted to brand themselves in the Super Bowl campaign, they were looking at some factors. Because the Super Bowl is located near Valentine's Day, they wanted to focus the campaign on a little bit of love and how women see men who clean. So they wanted to bring some type of attention they can to the brand that Mr. Clean hasn't had in many years. So the goal of the campaign was wanting men to think when using Mr. Clean they can feel sexy, or that how can Mr. Clean products be a way to connect husbands and wives. And I'll talk about the campaign next. So the Super Bowl ad was called Cleaner of Your Dreams. It was a 2017 Super Bowl ad. It lasted 30 seconds. It cost $5 million to play that 30-second ad. And their tagline at the end was, "You gotta love a man who cleans." Now I'm going to describe a brief summary about what the campaign was, or what the commercial was. So, Mr. Clean ran a 30-second video. That opened up with a woman named Sarah, who's just a woman hanging out in her kitchen. She sees a stain, and she looks disappointed, only because that she noticed that she doesn't really want to scrub food right now off the kitchen stove. But Mr. Clean shows up onto the scene, looking very sexy. He's squeezing the magic eraser in a very sexy way, and Sarah's expression changes. Mr. Clean begins to clean around the house while doing sexy dance moves. Then Sarah realizes the sexy man is her less attractive husband who was cleaning the whole time. And the tagline at the end of the video was, "You gotta love a man who cleans." This was the first ever Super Bowl commercial ad that Procter & Gamble ever did for Mr. Clean. And it had a lot of different views based off that. So before they launched the commercial, they did some pre-game social media posts. And as you can see here on the left-hand side, they did a brief little, they call it GIF, of a Super Bowl ad on Twitter and Facebook, and they did Super Bowl 51, Mr. Clean gets dirty. And as you can see down here at the bottom left-hand corner, watch Mr. Clean get dirty. And they use the hashtag Mr. Clean, hashtag Super Bowl 51. It's an easy way for fans and their customer base to find the ad real easy by doing hashtag Mr. Clean and hashtag Super Bowl 51. So this is what we learned in our class. Create a simple hashtag that anyone could follow. And the results, it was huge. from the YouTube video, the views from the YouTube post of the commercial, it had over 18 million views, 38,000 likes. Facebook views, there was over 8 million views on Facebook just alone, 87,000 likes, 61,000 shares. And Twitter, they had 27,000 views and 2.3 likes. And this is kind of crazy that 11,700 mentions in the 60 seconds after the campaign began. So a lot of customer engagement and feedback was coming in immediately after it was launched. And the biggest number here that is crazy to me is it's generated 82% of sales for the Mr. Clean portfolio ever since this campaign launch. So it has been a huge, huge success. And here's some campaign reactions. Now, you might think, Mr. Clean, how's it follow its old past tradition of being simple, cleaning supply, just cleans dirt off stoves and stuff, but now they've did it in a sexier way. And there was mostly positive reactions. There was one negative one, but most of them, as you can see on the right, it says, "I love this best Super Bowl commercial ever. I want to marry you, Mr. Clean." But then you can see in the middle, "Dirty, not sure, creep, hell yeah." So it seems like some people thought this commercial was kind of creepy because the Mr. Clean guy was dancing sexy in front of his so-called wife. And then you can see further down, "Oh yeah, baby, love the way you use your mop. Now this Mr. Clean works for me." So it shows that most people really enjoyed it. And there was high fan engagement. A lot of people wanted to comment about how great the commercial was, and they wanted to retweet it and thought it was the funniest thing ever. Now, if I had to do improvement recommendations, I think maybe in the future they don't make the ad not so seductive. Because the Super Bowl, there's a lot of underage kids that watch it, families watch it. It might have made some families uncomfortable, and that would be a shame that if Mr. Clean was able to piss off some of their customers based off this ad. I think also they need to look into is think about future gender roles and future campaigns. Maybe usually, most likely, the women's not doing all the cleaning in the house as gender roles change. It's something to look into, as in what ways can they make sure they don't offend anyone based off their future ads. And to conclude the whole thing, I think Mr. Clean did a really good job. They've increased brand awareness by targeting men for the first time. They usually were targeting women, and they finally targeted men to try to make them use the Mr. Clean product and make them feel sexy and strong. They did a great job because they've reached 18 million views on YouTube, 87 likes on Facebook. They really increased that brand awareness. It was also a very unique Super Bowl ad. No other brand has tested this boundary of being sexy and going outside of the comfort zone of the brand. It's also created an easy way for users to talk about the ad, and it creates publicity. They did a really good job. They set themselves different from everyone else, and everyone was talking about it. And lastly, I think Mr. Clean has to think about future brand image. They have to think about what future ads they want. How can they keep them going? Do they want to continue down this sexy Mr. Clean path and continue to target men, or do they want to revert back? Was this a one-time stunt? They got to think about gender roles in the future ad, because they can't always assume women always clean. Overall, I thought Mr. Clean did a really good job. The campaign was successful, and I really enjoyed doing this presentation.